I'm David Summers from High Performance Pilot, a show dedicated to improving our performance as aviation professionals. To do that, I'll use the core competency matrix and the behaviours contained within it, the skills, the knowledge, and the attitudes. Hello again, welcome back to another episode, and thank you for your continuing support. Coming up today, uses initiative, gives direction, and takes responsibility when required. A behaviour from leadership and teamwork. Effective leadership and teamwork is the starting point for the core competency matrix. It's enhanced by good knowledge and facilitated through effective communication. Without proficient leadership and teamwork, the matrix falls apart. Uses initiative, gives direction, and takes responsibility when required is one of the behaviours within this competency, and without it, there is no effective team. So, on to what this behaviour is. Using initiative means proactively identifying and addressing issues or opportunities without waiting for explicit instructions. It is how we identify the many threats presented during our operational day. Giving direction involves providing clear and concise guidance to team members. It is not solely the leader that needs to give direction. Team members should feel empowered to do so. Indeed, may be required to do so as circumstances dictate. Taking responsibility means acknowledging and being accountable for one's actions and decisions. Why do we need it? Firstly, let's look at initiative. Using your initiative plays a crucial role in threat identification and subsequent avoidance or mitigation, which, as I say every week, strikes at the heart of operating aircraft safely. Additionally, by displaying initiative, we are demonstrating our commitment to the team and to the team's objectives. Finally, the dynamic environment we operate in demands we are proficient in taking initiative. Secondly, giving effective direction ensures that everyone understands their roles and responsibilities, one of the first steps to defining the team. With direction, team members have focus and are therefore productive and engaged. All members of the team should be ready to give direction whilst ensuring they do not undermine the team leader. And finally, taking responsibility. Team leaders and team members who take responsibility inspire trust and confidence amongst their colleagues and so strengthen the team dynamic. If we can accept accountability and responsibility, we are demonstrating our willingness to learn and self-improve. Here's how we can achieve proficiency in using initiative, giving direction, and taking responsibility when required. Looking inwards. Indulge in some self-analysis and evaluate how you stack up against this behaviour. Not only identify areas where you need improvement, but also those where you feel you are proficient. Workload management. The core competencies are all linked. To become proficient in taking initiative and giving direction, first we must ensure we have the space to understand what initiative is needed. To do that, work on becoming proficient in the behaviours contained within the competency of workload management. This will ensure we have the spare capacity to enable us to understand what initiatives we need to take, what direction we need to give. With spare capacity, the initiatives should flow freely. Mentorship. Mentorship plays a crucial role in developing leadership skills. Experienced operators can provide guidance, share their knowledge, and serve as role models for emerging operators. For those who are less experienced, find someone who demonstrates the behaviours contained in the matrix and seek to learn as much as you can from them. For those who are experienced and may be that mentor, make sure you demonstrate the required behaviours. It is, after all, your responsibility to pass down good practice. And remember, your actions and behaviour have a profound effect, often shaping someone's mindset for years to come. Utilising TDODA and what's next. On a practical level, using these models help us understand the situation presented to us. This will allow us to implement the required initiatives and help us to give subsequent direction. For those that are not familiar, I'll explain TDODA later in the episode. Understanding your leadership style. We must remember that at all times we are aiming to get the best outcome for the team. Ensure the whole team feels empowered to take initiative, that direction is given in a manner that is encouraging, and everyone feels they're in an environment where they can take responsibility. All behaviours contained in the competencies of leadership and teamwork and communication. Threats. Effective operation requires us to understand the potential threats and errors and so allow us to avoid or mitigate them. The absence of proficiency in using initiative, giving direction, and taking responsibility when required poses several significant threats. Number 1. Without initiative within the team, nothing will get done. Team members will be merely passengers waiting for events to happen and act reactively with the consequence of reduced safety. Number 2. Teams without direction will be lackluster and apathetic. Morale will be low and there will be a danger of laissez-faire. There will be little team cohesion and once again, safety will be compromised. In summary, without proficiency, threat identification is compromised. And now I'll look at an example to put this behaviour into context. And once again, I'll use that example of threat identification, which is always worth reiterating. We need initiative to identify threats and direction to avoid or mitigate them. If we have to trap them, then giving direction is definitely required. It may be stating the obvious, but we must also take responsibility for the threats we encounter. And now to the key takeaways. Taking initiative requires us to be proactive, direction needs to be clear and concise, and taking responsibility requires a supportive environment. Initiative is crucial for threat identification. Direction supports understanding team roles and responsibilities, whilst taking responsibility inspires trust within the team. Understanding ourselves, our experience, and how we affect others, along with effective workload management, are important for proficiency in this behaviour. Lack of proficiency results in a dysfunctional team and a lack of understanding of the operational threats. And now on to the golden takeaway. Use the TDODA acronym, or whichever failure management aid you are used to help develop initiative and practice giving direction. It will help you to understand where your initiative is needed and assist in organising your thoughts around giving direction. For those that use a different model, TDODA stands for time, diagnosis, options, decision, assign, and review, and I'll dedicate a whole episode to it in the future. So there you have it. Uses initiative, gives direction, and takes responsibility when required. A behaviour from the competency, leadership, and teamwork. I hope you found it useful, that you've heard something you can put into practice the next time you operate. These podcasts have an ultimate aim: to stimulate interest in the core competencies and inspire you to seek them out and apply them to further improve your effectiveness as a pilot. High Performance Pilot. Each week, one behaviour from one competency. We'll break it down and provide tips and advice on how to make it a strength in your operation. Join me next week. If you wish to contribute or ask a question, please email me at highperformance@gmail.com. And finally, this week's episode is also available on my YouTube channel. Just search for @High Performance Pilot.